Have you ever walked into a room and completely forgotten why you went there? Or found yourself struggling to remember the name of someone you've known for years? Perhaps you've misplaced your keys for the third time this week and wondered if it's just normal aging or something more concerning. If you're nodding right now, you're not alone. These moments can be frustrating, even frightening, especially as we pass that 60-year milestone. But here's something that might surprise you: what's on your plate could be directly affecting what stays in your memory. Welcome back to Wise Elderly Tips, where today I'm sharing something that could make a real difference in your cognitive health journey. The foods you eat don't just nourish your body, they feed your brain. And emerging research shows that certain foods may help protect against memory loss and cognitive decline as we age. This isn't just about avoiding those embarrassing senior moments. It's about maintaining your independence, your identity, and your quality of life for years to come. Think about it: your memories are the tapestry of your life experience. They connect you to loved ones and help you navigate daily tasks that keep you independent. In today's video, I'll share 7 powerful brain-boosting foods that research shows can help protect your memory and cognitive function after 60. By the end, you'll have a practical shopping list that could make a real difference in how your brain ages. Plus, I'll reveal one common food that might actually be harming your memory without you realizing it. This information could be life-changing for you or someone you love. If you're concerned about maintaining your sharp mind as you age, type "brain health" in the comments below. And if you're new here, don't forget to subscribe to Wise Elderly Tips for more practical advice on aging well and maintaining your independence. Hit that notification bell too, so you never miss our weekly videos. Now, let's dive into these memory-protecting powerhouses that deserve a place on your plate. Food number 1, fatty fish. Let me tell you about Margaret, a 68-year-old viewer who wrote to me last month. She was distressed because she'd been forgetting her grandchildren's birthdays, something that had never happened when she was younger. As a grandmother myself, I understand how upsetting that can be. These aren't just dates, they're connections to the people we love most. Margaret decided to make one simple change after watching a previous video of mine. She started incorporating salmon into her meals twice weekly. After 3 months, she reached out again with excitement in her voice. She was recalling details more easily, not just birthdays, but conversations and daily tasks too. Could something so simple really make such a difference? According to science, absolutely. Fatty fish like salmon, tuna, mackerel, and sardines are rich in something your brain craves: omega-3 fatty acids, especially a type called DHA. You see, DHA makes up about 25% of the fat in your brain cells, and it helps them communicate effectively with each other. These omega-3s increase blood flow to the brain and are associated with better cognition in multiple studies. What's particularly fascinating is that research shows omega-3s may even lower levels of beta-amyloid in the brain. That's a protein associated with the plaques found in Alzheimer's disease. One study found that people who ate fish weekly had more gray matter in their brains, literally more brain tissue in regions responsible for memory and cognition. Now, I know what some of you are thinking. Fish is expensive, or I don't know how to cook it, or perhaps, what about mercury? These are valid concerns, but there are simple solutions. You don't need expensive cuts of fish to reap the benefits. Canned light tuna, sardines, and frozen salmon fillets are affordable options that still pack those omega-3 benefits. As for preparation, it doesn't get much simpler than opening a can of sardines or baking a salmon fillet with a little lemon, olive oil, and herbs. Regarding mercury concerns, choosing smaller fish like sardines or properly sourced salmon minimizes this risk. If you're still concerned, talk to your doctor about testing your mercury levels. Here's my practical advice: aim to eat fatty fish twice a week. If you're really not a fish lover, and I know some of you aren't, consider taking an omega-3 supplement after consulting with your doctor. There are even algae-based options for vegetarians. And don't forget plant-based alternatives like flax seeds, walnuts, and avocados also provide omega-3s, though in a different form than fish. Now that we've covered brain-healthy proteins, let's look at some colorful additions to your plate that can protect your memory cells from damage. Food number 2, berries. John, a 72-year-old retired English teacher, was an avid crossword puzzler his entire adult life. It was more than a hobby, it was how he kept his mind sharp and connected to his love of language. But at 72, he noticed something troubling. He was struggling to complete puzzles he once found easy. His daughter, a nutritionist, suggested adding a cup of blueberries to his morning routine. John was skeptical but willing to try anything that might help. 3 months later, he called me to share that he was back to finishing the Sunday crossword without help. Was this just coincidence, or could those small berries really make such a difference? Here's what the research tells us: berries, especially blueberries, strawberries, and blackberries, are packed with antioxidant compounds called flavonoids that give them their vibrant colors. Think of these compounds as tiny shields, helping combat inflammation and oxidative stress in your brain, two major contributors to brain aging and neurodegenerative diseases. A remarkable study from Harvard's Brigham and Women's Hospital found that women who consumed 2 or more servings of strawberries and blueberries each week delayed memory decline by up to 2.5 years compared to those who ate fewer berries. That's substantial. Imagine gaining an extra 2 years of sharp thinking and clear memories just from adding some berries to your diet. Now, I know what many of you are thinking: fresh berries are expensive, especially out of season. That's absolutely true, and it's a common misconception that you need to eat fresh berries to get the benefits. The good news is that frozen berries retain most of their nutritional benefits and are available year-round at a lower cost. In fact, since they're frozen at peak ripeness, they sometimes contain even more nutrients than fresh berries that have been shipped long distances. Here's how to incorporate more berries into your diet. Add them to your morning cereal or oatmeal, blend them into smoothies, or simply enjoy them as a snack with a small handful of nuts, which we'll talk about later. Even sprinkling them on a salad can add both flavor and brain-boosting benefits. Aim for at least 2 servings per week, though more is certainly beneficial. While berries provide protection through their antioxidants, our next brain food offers a different kind of support, one that helps maintain the actual structure of your brain cells. Food number 3, leafy green vegetables. Elizabeth had been a dedicated elementary school teacher for over 40 years before retiring at 65. Teaching thousands of children meant remembering countless names and faces was second nature to her. But recently, she noticed something troubling. When former students would approach her at the grocery store or community events, she struggled to recall their names. This had never been an issue before, and it shook her confidence. After watching a video on brain health, Elizabeth decided to add a daily salad with spinach and kale to her routine. It wasn't a drastic change, but over the next few months, she found herself not only remembering names more easily but also recalling details from conversations that had previously slipped away. During our last conversation, she told me, "I feel like myself again." So what's the science behind leafy greens and memory? These vegetables, including spinach, kale, collards, and broccoli, are rich in an impressive array of brain-healthy nutrients. They contain vitamin K, lutein, folate, and beta-carotene, all nutrients that support cognitive function. In fact, one study from Rush University Medical Center found that people who ate just 1 serving of leafy greens per day had brains that functioned as if they were 11 years younger compared to those who rarely ate greens. Imagine that, 11 years of cognitive difference from something as simple as adding greens to your daily meals. These vegetables are also high in vitamin E, which has been specifically linked to preventing cognitive decline, particularly in the elderly. Vitamin E helps protect brain cells from oxidative stress, which increases as we age. Now, I know what many of you might be thinking. I don't like the taste of kale, or I'm on blood thinners like warfarin, so I should avoid greens. These are common concerns, but there are ways around them. First, you don't need to eat large salads to benefit. Even adding small amounts of greens to soups, sandwiches, or smoothies can make a difference. If you don't enjoy the taste, try baby spinach, which has a milder flavor than mature spinach or kale. You can easily hide it in smoothies with fruit, or wilt it into soups and pasta sauces where you'll barely notice it. As for blood thinners, it's true that sudden increases in vitamin K, found in leafy greens, can interfere with medications like warfarin. However, the key word is sudden. Your doctor can adjust your medication to accommodate regular intake of greens. The important thing is consistency. Don't avoid these brain-boosting vegetables entirely. Instead, eat similar amounts daily and work with your healthcare provider to adjust your medication accordingly. My practical advice? Try to include at least 1 serving of leafy greens daily. Add spinach to your morning eggs, enjoy a side salad with lunch, or blend kale into a fruit smoothie to mask the taste if you're not a fan. Your brain will thank you for years to come. While greens feed your brain with vital vitamins, our next food provides the energy your brain needs to function optimally throughout the day. Food number 4, whole grains. Robert, at 73, was becoming increasingly frustrated with what he called his afternoon brain fog. He was sharp as a tack in the mornings but noticed significant mental fatigue by mid-afternoon. This affected not just his energy levels but his ability to remember details from morning conversations or appointments. His wife would ask if he remembered what their daughter had said about weekend plans, and he'd draw a complete blank. After learning about the connection between diet and brain energy, Robert made a simple switch. He replaced his usual white bread with whole grain alternatives and started incorporating brown rice and quinoa into his meals. Within weeks, he noticed more consistent energy levels throughout the day and improved recall. "It's like someone turned the lights back on in my brain," he told me. So what makes whole grains so beneficial for our aging brains? Whole grains like barley, brown rice, quinoa, and oatmeal are rich in B vitamins and fiber, nutrients that directly impact brain function. Unlike refined carbohydrates that cause blood sugar spikes and crashes, these complex carbohydrates release glucose slowly into the bloodstream, providing your brain with a steady energy source. This is crucial because your brain is an energy-hungry organ. Despite making up only about 2% of your body weight, it consumes roughly 20% of your daily energy intake. When blood sugar levels fluctuate dramatically, as they do after consuming refined carbs, your brain function can suffer, affecting memory and cognitive processing. Research has specifically linked B vitamins found in whole grains to reducing the risk of cognitive decline. These vitamins help lower levels of homocysteine in the blood, an amino acid that in high amounts is associated with increased risk of dementia and stroke. The fiber in whole grains offers another brain benefit. It helps lower cholesterol, improving blood flow to the brain. Better circulation means more oxygen and nutrients reaching your brain cells, supporting optimal function. Now, many people avoid grains entirely due to popular low-carb diets, not realizing they're cutting out essential nutrients for brain health. Others think wheat bread from the store is the same as whole grain. It's often not. Marketing can be misleading, and many wheat breads are actually made with refined flours that have been stripped of their nutritional value. Here's my practical advice: aim for at least 3 servings of whole grains daily. Start your day with oatmeal topped with those brain-boosting berries we discussed earlier. Choose brown rice instead of white rice with your meals. When buying bread, look for options where whole grain is the first ingredient, not enriched flour. If you're gluten sensitive, don't worry, there are plenty of gluten-free whole grain options like quinoa, buckwheat, and brown rice that offer similar benefits. The key is choosing grains in their least processed form, with all parts of the grain intact. Now that we've covered the foundation of brain-healthy carbohydrates, let's explore a surprising brain food that many people enjoy daily without realizing its cognitive benefits, something you might already have in your morning routine. Food number 5, coffee and tea. Clara, an 82-year-old viewer with a remarkable memory, wrote to me last year concerned that her daily coffee habit might be harming her health. She'd been drinking 2 cups every morning for over 60 years but was being pressured by well-meaning family members to give it up at her age. She was surprised when her neurologist actually encouraged her moderate coffee consumption, explaining it might be supporting her remarkably sharp memory. This is a common scenario I hear about. Conventional wisdom often suggests cutting back on caffeine as we age. But what does the research actually tell us about coffee, tea, and brain health? It turns out your morning cup might be doing more good than you realize. Coffee and tea contain more than just caffeine. They're major sources of antioxidant polyphenol that research suggests can support healthy brain aging. These compounds help reduce inflammation and oxidative stress, 2 processes that contribute to cognitive decline. Several large-scale studies have linked moderate coffee consumption with reduced risk of cognitive decline and dementia. One study that followed people for over 20 years found that those who drank 3 to 5 cups of coffee daily had a 65% decreased risk of developing Alzheimer's disease compared to those who drank little or no coffee. The caffeine in your morning cup might offer more than just a short-term concentration boost. Research suggests it may help solidify new memories. One study found that caffeine consumption after learning new information helped participants better retain that information when tested 24 hours later. Green tea deserves special mention here. It contains a specific polyphenol known as EGCG that has been well researched for its links to brain health. Studies suggest regular green tea drinkers show better memory and attention, and green tea compounds may even influence the production of brain cells, particularly in the hippocampus, the memory center of your brain. Now, I understand the concerns about caffeine consumption as we age. Many people avoid it completely, fearing sleep disruption or increased blood pressure. While sensitivity can increase with age, moderate consumption, 1 to 2 cups daily before noon, offers benefits that may outweigh concerns for many people. Here's my practical advice: enjoy 1 to 2 cups of coffee in the morning, or switch to green tea if coffee is too stimulating. Be mindful of timing. Consuming caffeine after 2 p.m. can interfere with sleep for many people, and quality sleep is essential for memory consolidation. Avoid adding sugar or artificial sweeteners, which may counteract some of the benefits. If you're sensitive to caffeine, decaffeinated versions still contain beneficial antioxidants. As with everything, individual responses vary. If you notice palpitations, anxiety, or sleep disturbances, cut back or switch to decaffeinated options. Always check with your doctor about potential interactions with medications you might be taking. While beverages can provide powerful brain protection, let's look at a snack option that's perfect for on-the-go brain nutrition, something small that packs a mighty cognitive punch. Food number 6, nuts and seeds. David, at 67, was deeply concerned about his family history of dementia. Both his father and paternal uncle had developed Alzheimer's in their early 70s, and David was determined to do everything possible to protect his memory. After researching brain-healthy habits, he made one simple change. He started carrying a small container of mixed nuts for snacking instead of his usual chips or crackers. 6 months later, David didn't just notice objective improvements in his memory, his bridge game partners commented on his improved focus and strategy. "I'm remembering card sequences better than I have in years," he told me during a recent conversation. So what makes nuts such powerful brain food? Nuts, especially walnuts, and seeds are excellent sources of vitamin E and healthy fats. Vitamin E is a powerful antioxidant that helps protect brain cells from oxidative damage, while the healthy fats support overall brain structure and function. Walnuts deserve special attention in our conversation about memory. They contain higher amounts of alpha-linolenic acid, ALA, a plant-based omega-3 fatty acid, than any other nut. Some research suggests walnuts can even help reverse age-related cognitive decline. It's almost as if nature is giving us a hint. Walnuts even resemble tiny brains in their structure. A landmark study from the Harvard School of Public Health found that women who ate at least 5 servings of nuts per week had better cognitive function and memory compared to those who didn't eat nuts. Another study discovered that seniors who consumed at least 1 ounce of nuts daily saw a significant improvement in memory recall, problem-solving, and reasoning skills. Beyond walnuts, almonds are rich in vitamin E and riboflavin, both linked to preserved memory function as we age. Hazelnuts provide a good dose of vitamin E and folate, important for cognitive function. Sunflower seeds offer a powerful combination of vitamin E, magnesium, and selenium, all nutrients that support brain health. Now, many people avoid nuts due to calorie concerns, not realizing that a small handful, about 1 ounce, provides brain benefits without weight gain when substituted for less healthy snacks. Others worry about sodium, which is only an issue with heavily salted varieties. Here's my practical advice: aim for a small handful, about 1 ounce, of unsalted or lightly salted mixed nuts daily. If you're watching calories, simply use nuts to replace other snacks rather than adding them to your existing diet. Keep a small container in your purse or car for a brain-healthy snack on the go. Sprinkle sunflower or pumpkin seeds on salads or yogurt for an added brain boost. And if you have dentures or dental concerns, try nut butters like almond or cashew butter spread on whole grain toast or apple slices. While nuts provide healthy fats for brain structure, our final brain food offers a powerful anti-inflammatory compound that might help protect against age-related memory decline, a golden spice that's gaining recognition for its cognitive benefits. Food number 7, turmeric. Amina, at 70, had been noticing increasing forgetfulness that concerned her deeply. With a mother and grandmother who had developed Alzheimer's, she was understandably worried about her own cognitive future. After researching brain-healthy foods, she was intrigued by the research on turmeric and decided to incorporate it into her daily routine. She began adding turmeric to her cooking and even developed a morning ritual of a turmeric ginger tea with black pepper and a touch of honey. After several months of consistent use, she reported feeling mentally sharper and more confident in her memory. "I'm remembering phone numbers again," she told me with excitement in her voice. So what makes this golden spice so special for our brains? Turmeric contains curcumin, a compound with powerful antioxidant and anti-inflammatory properties. What makes curcumin particularly valuable for brain health is its ability to cross the blood-brain barrier, meaning it can actually enter the brain and directly affect brain cells. Research suggests curcumin may help clear the amyloid plaques that are characteristic of Alzheimer's disease. It appears to reduce inflammation in the brain and may even stimulate the production of new brain cells, a process called neurogenesis that was once thought impossible in adults. A study published in the American Journal of Geriatric Psychiatry found that participants who took curcumin supplements twice daily over 18 months experienced significant improvements in memory and attention compared to those taking a placebo. They even showed fewer signs of amyloid and tau proteins in their brains, the markers associated with Alzheimer's disease. Now, there are some important misconceptions about turmeric that need addressing. Many people try adding it to a curry dish once a month and expect results. The benefits come from regular, consistent consumption over time. Also, curcumin is poorly absorbed by the body on its own, it needs help to be effective. Here's where a fascinating food synergy comes into play. Combining turmeric with black pepper increases curcumin absorption by up to 2,000%. That's because black pepper contains piperine, a compound that helps your body make use of the curcumin. Adding a healthy fat, like olive oil or avocado, further improves absorption since curcumin is fat-soluble. Another important point, cooking with turmeric alone may not provide therapeutic doses of curcumin. The studies showing significant cognitive benefits used concentrated supplements providing 500 to 1,000 milligrams of curcumin daily, much more than you'd typically get from cooking. Here's my practical advice: add turmeric to scrambled eggs, soups, or rice dishes regularly. Always combine it with black pepper and a healthy fat like olive oil for better absorption. For more significant benefits, talk to your doctor about curcumin supplements, which provide higher doses than cooking alone. Look for formulations that include piperine or black pepper extract to enhance absorption. If you do opt for supplements, be aware that curcumin can interact with certain medications, including blood thinners, some diabetes drugs, and acid reflux medications. Always consult your healthcare provider before starting any supplement regimen. Now that we've covered 7 powerful brain-boosting foods, let's talk about what you might want to limit in your diet to protect your memory. Because sometimes, what you don't eat is just as important as what you do. Bonus: foods that may harm brain health. William, at 65, was doing everything right, eating berries, fish, and exercising regularly, yet still noticed his memory declining. He was frustrated and confused by his lack of progress until a cognitive specialist suggested he keep a detailed food diary for 2 weeks. The results were revealing. While William was incorporating many brain-healthy foods, he was also consuming significant amounts of ultra-processed foods, sugary beverages, and refined carbohydrates. Once he began eliminating these foods from his diet, he finally started seeing improvements in his memory and cognitive function. It was like clearing away fog, he told me. This highlights an important truth: adding healthy foods is only part of the equation. We also need to consider what might be actively harming our brain health. Let me share some key categories to be mindful of. First, highly processed foods high in refined sugars, unhealthy fats, and additives can contribute to inflammation and oxidative stress in the brain. These are not just empty calories, they're potentially harmful to your cognitive health. Studies have linked diets high in ultra-processed foods to accelerated cognitive decline and increased dementia risk. Trans fats, though less common in our food supply than they once were, still lurk in some processed and fried foods. Research has associated them with impaired memory and increased risk of Alzheimer's disease. A study published in the journal Neurology found that higher consumption of trans fats was linked to a 75% increased risk of developing Alzheimer's. Foods with a high glycemic index, those that rapidly raise blood sugar levels, can be particularly problematic for brain health. These include white bread, white rice, pastries, and sugary drinks. Research suggests these foods not only impair memory and intelligence but may increase your risk of dementia. A study that followed people for 7 years found that those with the highest dietary intake of sugars had an almost doubled risk of developing Alzheimer's compared to those with the lowest intake. Excessive alcohol consumption deserves special mention. While moderate consumption, particularly of red wine, has been associated with some cognitive benefits, heavy drinking is undeniably harmful to brain structure and function. Alcohol can directly damage brain cells and lead to thiamine deficiency, which further impairs memory and cognitive function. Many people have misconceptions about these dietary factors. Some think an occasional treat won't matter, but research shows even short-term consumption of highly processed foods can impact brain function. Others believe sugar-free products are better, but artificial sweeteners like aspartame may have their own negative effects on brain health. Here's my practical advice: focus on whole, fresh foods and limit processed items, sugary drinks, and foods with added fats. Read labels carefully. If you can't pronounce the ingredients, your brain might not recognize them either. When dining out, be mindful of hidden sugars and unhealthy fats in restaurant foods. And when you do indulge in treats, because life should include some pleasure, balance them with brain-healthy foods to minimize their impact. This isn't about perfection or deprivation. It's about making informed choices most of the time while allowing reasonable flexibility. Your brain doesn't need a perfect diet, it needs a consistently good one. I want to take a moment to acknowledge something important. Memory loss can be deeply frightening. It threatens not just our ability to recall facts, but our very identity and connections to those we love. The fear of forgetting a grandchild's name, missing an important medication, or becoming dependent on others is very real for many of us as we age. I hear this fear in the messages you send me, in the comments you leave, and in the stories you share. One viewer recently wrote to me, "Every time I forget something simple, I wonder if it's the beginning of the end for me. It keeps me up at night." This vulnerability is something many of us feel but few discuss openly. There's often shame associated with cognitive decline. We worry others will see us as less capable, less valuable, or less ourselves. But today's information gives us something powerful, a sense of agency and hope. Rather than viewing memory decline as inevitable, you now have practical, delicious ways to potentially protect your cognitive health. Every meal becomes an opportunity to nourish not just your body, but your brain. I want to emphasize that this isn't about perfect eating, it's about making informed choices that support your brain health alongside your medical care. No single food is a miracle cure, and cognitive health is influenced by many factors beyond diet. But knowing you're taking proactive steps can provide both physical benefits and emotional peace of mind. As Hannah, an 84-year-old viewer, shared with me, since incorporating these foods into my diet 2 years ago, not only has my memory remained stable, but the anxiety I felt about my cognitive future has lifted. I feel empowered rather than fearful. This emotional shift is perhaps as valuable as the cognitive benefits themselves. When we move from fear to empowerment, from helplessness to action, we improve not just our brain health but our overall well-being. Start small, perhaps adding berries to your breakfast tomorrow or enjoying a piece of salmon this week. Notice how these foods make you feel, both physically and mentally. I encourage you to keep a simple journal of your food choices and any changes in memory or focus you observe over time. This record can be motivating as you notice improvements, however subtle they may be. Remember, cognitive health is influenced by many factors. Diet is just one piece of the puzzle. By combining these brain-healthy foods with regular exercise, quality sleep, stress management, social connection, and mental stimulation, you're creating the best possible environment for your brain to thrive as you age. It's never too late to make positive changes. Your brain maintains its ability to adapt and form new connections throughout your life. Each healthy choice you make supports this remarkable capacity for resilience and growth. As we wrap up today's discussion on brain-healthy foods, let's quickly recap these powerful memory protectors that deserve a place on your plate. First, fatty fish rich in omega-3s, like salmon and sardines, that help build and repair brain cells. Second, colorful berries packed with antioxidants that combat oxidative stress and inflammation in the brain. Third, leafy greens with essential vitamins that can help your brain function years younger than your actual age. Fourth, whole grains that provide steady energy to your brain, avoiding the cognitive dips that come with blood sugar crashes. Fifth, coffee and tea, with their protective compounds that may help reduce your risk of cognitive decline when consumed regularly and moderately. Sixth, nuts and seeds with healthy fats and vitamin E that support overall brain structure and function. And seventh, turmeric with its powerful anti-inflammatory properties that may help clear the proteins associated with Alzheimer's disease. Now I'd love to hear from you. Which of these brain-healthy foods do you already enjoy, and which ones will you try adding to your diet? Share in the comments below. Your experience might inspire others on their journey to better brain health. If you have questions about how to incorporate these foods into your meals, leave those in the comments too, and I'll do my best to address them in future videos. If you found this information valuable, please give this video a thumbs up so more people can discover these important tips. And if you haven't already, subscribe to Wise Elderly Tips for more practical advice on maintaining your health, independence, and quality of life as you age. Hit the notification bell so you don't miss our upcoming videos. Thank you for investing this time in your cognitive health. Remember, every meal is an opportunity to nourish your brain. Your memories are precious. They're the stories of your life, your connections to loved ones, and your sense of self. They deserve your protection and care. Stay curious, stay nourished, and I'll see you in the next video with more tips for living your best life at any age.